welcome to yet another DuskBreakers AMA. It is an incredibly exciting one today. I am joined by my usual co-hosts, Jason, Joshi, Style Piggy, Julia. We're all here. A bunch of our team members in the chat. You can see Kevlin or Vinlin, Gears, and David at the very top, and a bunch of familiar faces there. Jason, I can hear you typing. Anyway, we have a lot to break down, so I'm going to just throw it right to... Who am I throwing to first? Joshi. Because I usually throw to Joshi first.
Well, hello everybody. It's Joshi, the community lead. I just have the boring stuff that we already saw on Discord, which is the Mad Libs 2 recap. The contest is fully completed now. Lil Yuzu on Discord is our champion Mad Libs writer this time around through a combination of our team selecting our favorites down to a top 6. We had the voice actors go through the motions and read out everyone's scripts that they wrote for the top 6, and then the community voted, and Lil Yuzu's breaker named Yuzu is now Jolie's rival officially in our webcomic series, which another issue is coming soon. But expect to see Yuzu in future editions, and he has a lot of headgear, I noticed, that character, so good luck, Gears, drawing that each time. The DuskBreakers tool naming poll, we actually did have just an open poll on the Discord server over the past weekend, and we ended up going with the name Kicho for the casual name, but the DuskTech official name, I'll have to click on it again here. Since it is longer, it is the Adept or Advanced Dusk Extraction Plasma Tool. So that is the long, boring name DuskTech gave it, and the casual name is Kicho around Machifuku for that DuskBreakers, plasma tool actually is what it is, not fire or lightning necessarily, but as the name suggests, Advanced Dusk Extraction Plasma Tool. So that's the standard issue version of that thing that breaks that we'll be taking into the Twilight shift. So that's the community stuff buttoned up. Congratulations again to Lil Yuzu entering another breaker into our official story world. That's something that all breakers can aspire to, all holders. And then now naming this tool is something that everyone got to participate in. So look forward to more community events, including the holder playtest tomorrow, which is really what we're all here to talk about and learn about on the AMA tonight. So I think I'll pass it to Jason now to discuss more on that.
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? You're passing it to me to do what part first? Sorry, I was
on our document
banging away. Yeah,
we're down to the reveal recap, high level particulars.
Yeah. So we did the thanks everybody for checking out our key dates that we put out at the end of last week. We wanted to make sure that we were giving everybody the exact timeline. We've talked about it before in AMA, but we didn't actually per se put it in blood ink to commit to those dates. And so what we have is our the first of many things here. We did the Twilight shift reveal this week, and just now on Twitter we did the Gribble Egg reveal. More on both of those soon. We have the holder playtest starts tomorrow. August 5th will be the price reveal for the allow list. Folks who have, those folks who have won allow list will be able to mint at a very specific price. And then we have, of course, our mint date and all the many, many things that go into that. And that's 8/19. And in order to get to 8/19, we decided to move the next version or the next scheduled AMA, which we typically have here on Twitter Spaces and Discord. We'll be moving it to Twitch. So we haven't used our Twitch channel in a while. We want to go there and do it so that we can do some show along with all the tell that we do. So we definitely have a lot of things that we've been working on. You see the art here for the egg video and the box art, but we have so much more to show you and to link all these cars and the train together and take off from the station on 8/19. So that'll be a nice little, probably similar time frame, about an hour and a half, for us to bring some team members up and do a little expose on our projects, as we can't wait for you to get your hands on all this stuff as we launch here between now and 8/19. How about that? So,
Exciting.
Yep. And so with that, the segue here is all the big stuff that we've been dropping this week. We had a nice busy week of drops, of reveals, Twilight Shift, and we just dropped officially what has now, drum roll. D-Lou was on it in Discord. He's been on it for a while, I think, or maybe that was you just wanted it to be this way. But we've revealed, and it is a Gribble Egg. The Gribble Egg is going to be the form that you see there on Twitter and Instagram is what will be the base NFT asset that will be, popularized on such platforms as OpenSea and LooksRare. But we have there's going to be more details on this soon, but there's going to be a path to evolve these eggs along the way, which ties into playing Twilight Shift. And so let's jump into that part. So that people can get up to speed and get ready for tomorrow. I know there's a lot of folks in our Discord. We're super excited for tomorrow to be able to get their hands on our latest game. And we'll bring up none other than Julia and a little bit of Bernie too to talk through this holder playtest through Twilight Shift. We're bringing up Julia because there's nobody better, nobody on the team with better knowledge than Julia about this, as she's worked very closely with the teams, notably in our Taiwan studio, to bring this game to light. And so, Julia, do you want to just kind of, again, introduce yourself to the audience? Julia was a member of our community, just like Joshi, that are now full-time employees here at MetaTheory, working on DuskBreakers. And Julia doesn't always speak every time, so we want to make sure we reset who Julia is. So, Julia, please.
Thank you, Jason. Yes. So yes, I'm Julia. Hello. If you pop into Discord, I'm Style Piggy there. As Jason said, I started out as just a community member. And I discovered DuskBreakers through our founder, Kevin Lynn's socials. And so DuskBreakers was kind of like my gateway drug into Web3 and NFT space. So I guess I was just like really active on Discord, just like our community members right now. And then I guess the team found me helpful, so they asked me to join the moderator team. And then from there, and then I joined the team full time. And then now I'm working closely with our game dev team and our team on the ops side. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Cool. Well, we're glad to have you, Julia, because Julia is she's the glue. She makes everything go. She takes all the notes, asks all the questions, makes sure that we're always tidied up, and we're communicating between all of our folks all over the world. So, Julia, let's talk about the game. If you want to talk about the development team and their background, and it would certainly give some people some insight into like how. We may have mentioned this before, but I think it's always good to just talk a bit about our dev team, Maso and folks, and Jonas.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I think I was on the AMA a couple times before where I did mention our game dev team, our talented and super experienced game dev and art director. So let me just so yeah, it is a lot of working parts to make the DuskBreakers wheels turn. And this includes our game devs from US. We have game devs in the US, and then we have a game dev team in Taiwan here. And then our artists, specifically our art director, is from Sweden. And we have like individual artists spread over Asia, like Taiwan, Hong Kong, India, and some game devs in Philippines. So we're all working remotely, and then we have been meeting virtually. It's been very interesting, but nonetheless super productive, and that's how we cranked out this game. So let me just introduce our Taiwan game devs again. So as I mentioned before, Maso and his team, they're legendary in Taiwan, where they made a game called Legend of Tianding. Um, they have been working together for so long, so they are able to efficiently crank out Twilight Shift in such a short amount of time. I think it's been less than 3 months that they've been developing Twilight Shift. And just saying that's like such a big feat, 3 months, and then you guys our holders are going to be able to play test this game. They're still constantly improving and iterating the game. Um, the whole team is super impressed by their passion for game design, and they're just trying to make this game fun. They're always like figuring out ways improving the game. So that's Maso and the rest of the game teams. And then on the other side, we have our art development team. They work hand in hand with our game devs to make sure the quality and style of the game is up to par. And hopefully our holders will be able to see that once they are able to play. They'll see what it looks like. I know there's a little teaser already in our Discord. So that's the work from our art director Jonas from Sweden. So he's been making art for games for over 20 years, and just hearing that, that he's really experienced. And I think I've mentioned this before, that he worked on game franchises such as Battlefield, Need for Speed. So just hearing that, that he's very experienced in not just creating art, but also managing the artists, all our artists spread all over the world, and getting them to create in a cohesive style, a certain style. And me just being like in a art review meeting with him, I could really tell that he has like a artist's eye for things. I mean, I'm not an artist, so yeah, so it's really fascinating, especially coming from like a game publishing background, where I haven't really dealt with artists, but being in these like art review meetings and facilitating these conversations, the operations side of things with the art development and the game devs is really cool. Yeah, so he's the one that's kind of directing how our game looks and feels. So yeah, I'm super excited for our holders to see our new game, Twilight Shift.
Twilight Shift. And let's you can do a hiring plug.
Oh yeah, so speaking about our artists and our game devs, we are always looking for talented individuals, especially artists. And so yeah, if you want to build with us, if you find DuskBreakers an interesting IP that you guys want to work on, go to our website, what was the website? Sorry, Joshy. You usually do the hire plug, so I'm gonna defer this to you.
Oh man, I believe it is actually not an easy link. It is the careers tab on our website, duskbreakers.gg. The website is actually on lever.co/metatheory, but harder to get to. But website, very easy, duskbreakers.gg, about, and then careers.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, come
smooth.
Build with us.
We're like a well-oiled machine. We're so smooth. Thank you, Julia, for all the feedback, and we'll come back to you in a little bit as we talk about the play test. But first, I think in really kind of like landing the bigger picture here of how we got here. So we've been working on all of this, and our lore team has certainly been hard at work. So I wanted to bring on Bernie to kind of talk about how you go about, or how we've gone about making lore to fit, from the webcomic to the Payday video, and now that Twilight Shift and the Egg are here in front of everyone's eyeballs, tell us a story about about Twilight Shift, about the Egg, and what goes into what's going on in the DuskBreakers universe.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for that. And yeah, very exciting, and just want to reiterate the amazing work on the game. There's a little bit of a preview footage, I guess it's footage, you can call it, from the game in our Breakers Only chat on Discord. I know some of you have been already reacting to it, but give that a look. It's you can kind of see where the game is at, and I just think, again, shout out to our team, the incredible, I would say, leap from the Play to Mint game, classic Beast Battlers games, to this game now is just, I mean, it's amazing. Anyway, so let's talk about the story of DuskBreakers and the lore, and how we're kind of looking at this from the 1,000-foot view. So as now that we know now you all know and we all know it's a Gribble Egg. Obviously, there's a logistical idea that the eggs will hatch and become Gribbles. Okay, so there is now that part of the narrative to kind of dig into here, and the every piece of content that at least on the story side that we're putting out is a piece to synergize with the 1,000-foot view of the story. So, there's a dusk. You know that you as breakers go up on the dusk to break the dusk for resources. Now, resources is a very vague term. It could be organic resources, metals, biologicals, all sorts of different things that we'll get into specifics as we go deeper into the story. And so there's that kind of macro basic, I'm a dusk breaker, I'm going on the dusk, and I'm breaking dusk. And I encounter things on the dusk, and I have to fight or avoid them or whatever. So that's being very focused on the webcomic. So that is the story of a breaker named Jolie, who is a breaker. The comic has been featuring other breakers who are, a breaker. You can look up the number of their breaker on OpenSea or on a website and see exactly what they look like as a dust breaker, and you can see that we are being as consistent as possible, showcasing them as a breaker in the comic that Gears has been awesomely drawing. Hold on a second, I'm going to take a little sip of water. And so then we're also featuring canonical breakers, as you've seen Eddie's breaker, you've seen Zep's breaker, Kane, in the story, and these two were two of the first breakers we canonicalized way back when we launched the collection with Play to Mint from Eddie and Zeps. And then we are now, of course, adding Little Yuzu's breaker, Yuzu, who won the Mad Libs contest as a very major character in the story as we go forward. So we're really excited to bring that in. Just sidebar, I know that Gears is not scared about drawing Little Yuzu's breaker, even though there's a lot of headgear. So very excited about looking at that. So as we go forward in game development, and that putting pieces together that we said that, hey, this new second collection is a game asset. So this egg that is a Gribble Egg that will hatch in the Gribble is a game asset. So finding the synergy points of that and tying that to our games, it was, you took a little thought there, but the team worked and designed and looked at how that all comes together. And we came up with the idea of the very basic level. What became Twilight Shift was, hey, we're dust breakers. We need to make sure that breakers are going on the dusk to get a thing, to get to at the very least. They need to be breaking. That's the whole core of our story, right? We're dust breakers. We got to go on the dusk and get a thing. So if they need to go get a thing for the Gribble Eggs, awesome, no problem. Let's do that. So then that's the very high level with story synergizing with gameplay. So then the gameplay team comes in and goes, oh, okay, well, what are they getting? How are they getting it? How's the gameplay work? These are the questions that are answered by our great game designers and game players and so forth. And as they take steps forward, we take steps forward, and like, okay, it's going to be these crystal-like things, and these, you see them in the gameplay. I'm not going to spoil too much, so you guys can enjoy and experience it yourselves and all that. But you'll see that kind of synergize together. And so then what you will then see, you won't get this tomorrow because right now we're just doing the play test for Twilight Shift, this one game, is that the resources you get in the game are going to be then affecting your second collection Gribble Eggs when you get them. And quick sidebar on that, remember that even though we are announcing a mint price for our allow list holders, remember that if you are holding a Genesis Breaker, you get a free claim for those. So the mint price won't affect you on that one. You just claim it. So it's a little encouragement for those of you who are holding to keep holding, and you'll get this egg, at least one 1-to-1 egg for your breaker for a claim price. You just claim it. So just sidebar that. So anyway, so now as you are playing Twilight Shift, you are now breaking the dusk for this resource to bring down for your Gribble Egg. And as eggs do in nature, eggs hatch and they need to be incubated. So the resource will then affect the incubation. Now, just to kind of head things off on some questions, do I need to play the game in order for my eggs to hatch? No. Okay, there's a story explanation for that. You'll see it. We'll have it. But does playing the game and successfully breaking the resources you need affect your egg and your Gribble as the game continues? Absolutely. So that there is a consequence to that action for sure. Not playing the game does not prevent you from hatching your Gribble eggs to eventual Gribbles, but playing the game allows you to enhance this future Gribble eggs to Gribbles for future gameplay elements as well. So just adding that on there to be as descripted and as vague as possible with that. So let's see. That's the kind of high level. Am I missing any details, team, that you feel like? I know we have a lot of discussions, so I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I would say, there's something I would say is that we call this the egg experience.
Okay, yeah. Let me dive into that a little more, right? So yes. So when you have the eggs, which you won't have until August 19th, which is the drop, there will be an experience. And so what I've been describing this as a 1,000-foot view is that when August 19th comes, there's going to be basically 4 things that are happening at the same time. Number 1, you have the drop of the new NFT, now revealed as Gribble Eggs. Number 2, you have an experience, as Jason just alluded to, on our website, where you will get to incubate, take care of, organize other things that we'll reveal later that you can do with your egg. Number 3, you get to play Twilight Shift. You get to go up to the dusk and get things for your egg. And number 4, there is another story experience that we have not revealed yet that will be revealed at a future date. That will also be on the website as well. So meaning that there will be other ways to also, those of you who just don't want to play the game for whatever reason, we have other ways for you to amass this resource to power up your eggs if you so choose to. And again, finally, you do not need to play the games in order to hatch your eggs. There.
But if you do play the games, if you do play with the experience, you will have an active role in evolving your egg into something very special come late September timeframe that will then transfer, or at least will be usable, playable game asset in our upcoming game. And so that's where the part where it does matter. If you put the time in, you'll get the time out for sure. So it's a very exciting process, both from the technical end, from the story end, how we will continue to even evolve the story. Everything's evolution. Evolve the company, evolve the story, evolve the egg. So all these things are super awesome, and I know that we're going to do more things down the road around this. Not just even these experiences. You know, Bernie's working hard at the lore team's working hard at even more content, and that will support all of this. And again, lean into the fact that we are very much a multi-platform company, right, Bernie? Like we're always thinking of like where we can push the story, how this all ties together, and just take that from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like finding ways from just my personal background and just my work and interest is finding ways for U.S. holders, U.S. players to be involved in the greater narrative. Everything's a test. It feels like that, something like the Mad Libs contest, getting a breaker into the comic, so far so good. Let's see how it plays out in comic and story as we move forward. So, but I think like the process there felt pretty good. I think some streamlined things we can look at in the future about the voting and the awareness and all that stuff. Because I think what will happen as we build and we expand our story and we're different formats, whether it be more videos, more comics, more whatever they are, and that storyverse expands, the value of having a canonical breaker that is essentially doing massively consequential things in the main narratives that we're showing, should theoretically become, very, very sought after. So right now, because comic has just started, it's cool. Is it amazing? Is it earth shattering? Just it will get there, right? So all very exciting things as we go forward. But I think for me, just like looking at the kind of overall landscape, it's like all right, now we're not that we're not doing stuff. It's that you as players and holders, thank you for waiting so patiently over these past few months as we've been developing Twilight Shift and this whole experience, egg experience. You're going to have a lot to be able to do very shortly. So pretty exciting.
Very cool. Well, excellent. Thanks, Bernie, for all the background. Thanks to, as always, the artist Gears for putting a lot of this stuff together, and for our teams to translate it into games and experiences, and to David, who's out there too, who's one of our founders and leads all of our design, and make sure all these things look and feel like the very best products that we can deliver. This is a lot of hard work and a lot of coordination, and that's why the team, we get together every day. We make sure that we're delivering the best experiences possible, and we always appreciate the support. So thanks to Bernie. And so we're going to bring back Julia, because we want to talk about the playtest, because we did have some details out there. We put the release notes out that Julia worked on for everyone, so that you have the details such as the system requirements, and other details of like what you should see in this playtest, and where there's still changes, as she mentioned earlier. There's still changes being made to the art and the music, in what will be released in a few more weeks here on August 19th. But in the meantime, what I'll say here first is I'll go into the fact that the playtest will start tomorrow at roughly 5 p.m. Pacific time, and run until August 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Small window, but it allows our team the time to get, and what I'm going to segue here to Julia is for you to play, and then for everyone to fill out the survey and give us feedback. That's what's going to help us in a tight window get some feedback. And so, Julia, you want to talk about the survey and how that'll help our development process?
Yep. Thank you, Jason. So yeah, we really want the community to be involved in our game development process. We value our community, and this is definitely the perfect opportunity to kind of gather our holders' feedback. We already played, like the internal team, we already played the game and gave feedback via this. So basically, we have a survey on our release notes. So please check that out after you played the game for a couple of rounds. So yeah, so internally we did play the game and gave feedback with a similar survey. And yeah, we love our holders to do the same, because you guys are you folks are an important part of this process. Web3 games, Web3 space and games are very different, where it's very helpful because we can devs can definitely gather firsthand information and data directly from the community and pivot quickly if necessary. I mean, just by looking at the dev times when we release a game, it took us less than 3 months compared to traditional games where they spend like 3 to 5 years time in development to come out with a game, but that may or may not be a hit. Of course, the level of production might not be the same just because this is just a mini game. But we do want to ensure fun. So it's very, very important that we have you our holders feedback. It's a short survey. It won't take longer than 5 minutes if you don't want it to be. A lot of like the longer answers, not a lot, it's just like two or three is just optional if you want to do. And then there's also an option if you do want to help improve the game by speaking to us, by speaking to the devs. You can. There is an option for you to leave your email for like a quick 15-minute interview, all optional. So yeah, so just honest feedback. What's not fun about it. Definitely want to know. Um, yeah, let me see. Should I go through
I got
the?
it. I'll
Okay.
take it, because we had one other thing. There's at the very end of the survey, we do have another opportunity for our breakers out there to suggest. So the Twilight shift takes place in the dusk. It is as we set up let's go read the story real quick again so that we can refresh that part. So deep within an off-limit zone of the dusk, precious materials await those breakers willing to cross the line. But beware, on the dusk, you're never alone. Spooky. So, so part of the game, the game itself takes place in a very specific area of the dusk. We haven't named that area yet, and so what we're looking for is that the lore team is working on it, but we'd also love your feedback on what you might call this area of the dusk. And what we're hopeful for is some of our breakers. You're the breakers. You're the ones going in to break stuff in the game, and therefore, what would breakers call this area of the dusk? So we love to get your feedback on that. That's at the very end of the survey. So if once you fill that out and you would supply that, we'll take that back to our lore team. And then we should be able to come back with during later in the week next week is a poll for you all to select what the name will be. And there maybe one breaker will come up with a really great name, and we'll be able to see your name in lights. Cool. That's it on the survey, right, Julia? We covered all the fun survey stuff. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. More on a bit of the finer details. While this information is in the release notes, I did want to cover it verbally here, just in case some people listen back to this later. We mentioned the start and finish times. The way this can work now is that you can actually get ahead and at least do some of the basics. Really, the basics are downloading and installing the launcher. Our launcher at dustbreakers.gg/launcher, I believe, is how simple that link is. And what you'll be able to do then is you would connect once you open the launcher, it'll prompt you to connect your wallet. It'll take you to a web browser, pretty standard at this point. If you're a holder, you probably know about something like MetaMask. It'll pop your MetaMask extension or other program for you to log in. And so you'll connect that. It'll then show you again, just like it did for if you use the launcher for the Beast Battler or the Classic mode. Same setup that you'll be able to connect there, see your breakers, activate one, click on one to activate it. But really, the system will know that you have breakers. And then on the release time, roughly again 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, July 29th. The game will appear in the launcher. So as long as you have the launcher already, you don't have to wait until then. There's not a snapshot. There's none of that stuff is necessary. You can just already have the launcher ready to go, just like you would, I guess. There's not quite as direct as like sometimes you get a game in one of the popular game stores like Steam or Epic, where you can download the game and wait before it's ready to be playable. But yes, our breaker holders will be able to get ready, and then so that way, once the game is dropped, you can just grab it, install it, and then away you go. So we made sure that that's in the release notes, and I just wanted to cover that off here. And I think that for now, before Q&A, that wraps up all of that conversation. Did anybody else have anything before we go to Q&A? I don't know if we skipped anything.
I'll just add 2 cents because I know this is a question I would ask if I didn't already know the answer, and that is the status of, since it's an early, play test, is it NDA'd, or can I stream it, or can I make videos or screenshots or whatever? And that is totally fine. Everyone can make whatever media they want, but we just ask you to, keep in mind that it's all early build stuff. If you do create content around it, please do reiterate that it's all first build, early stuff, and not finished product, all that. So we didn't watermark the game or anything, but that, we do have Jimmy and Delu and others who like to stream. So do feel free to create content around what you see in the playtest. We're not going to chase you down or lock it down at all.
Great. That's great info, Joshy. So thank you for that. Yeah, please do. Please play the game. Please share if you in any way you like. What should we do here, Bernie? Should we go to Q&A?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Where are we at here? Joshy, do you have an idea of where we should start in the AMA, in the Q&A?
Yeah, I'll just scroll back to earlier in the week and after we announced the AMA. So Jimmy actually had the first question after the playtest release notes were posted on the website. He asked, with the game being a dungeon crawler / roguelike, what game or games in the genre inspired the team, whether that be mechanics, art, etc., or even just games in general? And I'll start with just, I remember a very early brainstorm session of how do we make a cool game around eggs? My first thought was Pac-Man, top-down view. I kind of pitched it as like, the ghosts are, they have threat ranges and you need to avoid them, but you're basically just top-down view collecting eggs, Pac-Man style. And that morphed many times over from like April to what we're going to play tomorrow. But that was my initial thought, was like, how do we make an egg game at all? And Pac-Man was what I started with. But go ahead, whoever else wants to answer that one.
Julia, do you know Bernie, do you know the?
I mean, I'm trying to remember like the conversations, because again, like on the story side, we need a game. We're going on the dust to get a thing for the eggs.
I know where this starts.
Yeah, and so I said it's like go game design, just do the like that's what the story needs. The story needs that. And so that was again, early brainstorming was, because one thing we didn't want to do is make it about collecting eggs. Like, I mean, yes, I know that's where its initial thought was, but that would be really problematic for like the collections. If suddenly you just like can just go up and just like, oh, we've just given you mint an egg, and then suddenly you can play the game and like just get like 1,000 eggs, right? Like that's really problematic as a mechanic. So it's like, no. They don't go get eggs. They have to go get things for the eggs to make them stronger or whatever, things. So go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I remember, so some of this started back when I had first started, and I was about a month in. Kevin, basically, we were looking at the timeline for, what was our original timeline. The original roadmap said we have a second collection here, and then we know we have this big, awesome multiplayer game we're working on, and it's, in the distance. And we were looking at, like, from a marketing perspective, like what was in between? What were we going to do? And there wasn't like a clear picture of what that was at the time. And so people, and Kevin's not here anymore. He had to run to a meeting, but people like to say Kevin likes to throw grenades in the room sometimes, and come up with force creativity, force people to scramble, essentially. And so we started to go down this road of figuring out like what was going to, not just like, okay, great, we can get to not just be cute about getting to our second collection. I was like, let's do simple. We didn't want to do just like, I guess, just hype cycle things. We actually wanted to build new experiences and build something that was like what we had set out initially in the first mint was the play to mint. That in itself was really, it was as far as we know, we were the first ones to do that. And so it had to be along those lines again. We had to think about this, and so then started us on this journey where we said we needed a game, and the teams went and figured out like what that game style could be. I don't know how close to this that Masso's team was brought on, but the game, then game development started. We had some idea of we had some idea of what the Dusk looks like because we've had the simulation. So we had somewhere to start at least and figure out, okay, we can do this. And clearly they've exceeded. I mean, for us, like I feel like they've well beyond exceeded expectations on delivering the game. But even that wasn't enough. So play the game, great. But what else is there? And this is where we haven't given all the details out yet, but we will on August 11th. We'll have much more details around this whole play to evolve, some points we called it play to upgrade. I think we're still trying to figure out what we really want to call it, but this idea that you as a player have a material impact on the outcome of your eventual, these are Gribble eggs are going to become Gribbles on your Gribble NFT and its playability in our, in our future. So this is, at every level we decided, great, let's do this thing. It's not easy, but let's figure it out. And a lot of team and Joshy and folks were, went in on how the play will matter and what the point systems might be like. So it took everybody. Bernie and his team and Jen really worked closely with the game development team, made other experiences along the way that also support this. David and folks were really started hammering away at a UI to what's this incubation look like. We were looking at it. We were looking at a new character, a new, relatively speaking, new NPC in the environment, that the rogue scientist. And so really you just hear those parts. Like there's a lot of parts that came together that didn't exist in March. We just knew that we had a second collection coming, and it was really a key of like how we wanted to deliver it. So I think there's some background there and what that is. And that's just just to get us here. And then obviously to get to take us to the fall when the multiplayer game will be here. So very exciting. Look ahead.
Yeah, I should tell that story about Kevin bringing up the grenade. It was like the visual effects was hey, what's in between? And it's like, which became the egg, and then we need something to do with the egg, so then we need a game to play with the egg, or to affect the egg, and then that became, well, what's the game? And that's where the story came in and went, it needs to be a game about going to get the thing to power the egg, right? And it needs to be on the Dusk. So then became this Twilight shift. I think the answer to the Mosso question when they came on, it was actually pretty close, because there was I just don't imagine a scenario where we were hypothetically discussing building a game this complicated without that team involved, right? Like, it's like, we can do this because we have this team now. We can since we do this. I don't want to speak completely for Nick, but that's my praise to him, his foresight, and the team that we have. It's like bringing on that team from Taipei to essentially like spearhead this game and get this thing out in less than 12 weeks, if not that even. I mean, it's crazy. like to me, and amazing. I've said that before in this AMA, but yes.
Yep. So that's the story, and then we just everybody heads down, meet every day, and deliver, build, deliver. So there we go.
Yeah, and just to answer more on like actual games inspiration and stuff, we actually hit a sort of snag where the original Play to Mint games were a simulation, right? There's no sky. It's like you're not actually on the Dusk. It's just you're a breaker, presumably in a training facility somewhere, shooting gribbles and gathering stuff. But now we're actually on the Dusk, facing, organic gribbles, real gribbles. And Jen on our team, the writing team, mentioned, being lethal to these gribbles that we're then asking our holders to raise and care for is kind of a weird disconnect mentally. If you're like going aboard the Dusk and just slaughtering, waves of gribbles, you can't really do like that style of game, because then it feels weird to have any attachment to a gribble. So sneaking and stealth and survival kind of became the twist. Rather than us being like a dominating force, we're actually the pitiful force trying to just survive among the gribbles. And we have like evasion and non-lethal sort of things to tackle the objectives this time, rather than just shoot and move on. So without spoiling, without trying to spoil too much, some mechanics are definitely influenced by those stealthier games with non-lethal mechanics. And then having the dungeon procedurally generated, like tons of games have that, but clearly like that's a mechanic that we love and adds to replayability. So in any game like that, obviously we've drawn from. So great question, Jimmy. I think that wraps that one up. So we'll move on to the next one, where I lost my place. Okay, Delu was the next one, actually, asking about the name of our game, Twilight Shift. What was the inspiration for that? We could talk about some of the other options, or we could talk about just the process for narrowing it down. Bernie might be the best one to tackle that.
Where did the name come from? I mean, yeah,
Twilight Shift.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, this is a journey, and I'm probably going to butcher a lot of this, so because it's a process. So, naming the game and then it's like, is the name of the game referring to the name of the game, or is it referring to an aspect of the game? Like, is it like the area? So one arena of naming conventions we were exploring was, hey, let's name the area, this forbidden area you're not supposed to be in to get this resource. Let's just name the game that, right? Which we totally could have. And we obviously haven't, because we're kind of opening up to you guys to name the area, and the name of the game is Twilight Shift. So there was that aspect for a while. What do we name the game? So there was actually kind of two brainstorm purposes going kind of in parallel. One was naming the area, and one was naming the game, assuming you don't name the game the name of the area, or the name of the zone. We got that. And then so there's also one kind of an idea of like, how literal do we name the game? And to be fair, I think if you were to say, hey, we as a meta theory and DuskBreakers have been very literal with our naming, I would say that's fair for you to say that. There have been a lot of literal namings of things as we've really just sped forward and moved very quickly, building the story world. Gribbles, Mama Gribbles, right? Like electric Gribbles, these things. I mean, to be fair, there's also things that are not literal, like the city Machifuku or the Kinshasa lifts. Like, so there are balances of that in our world. So then we had this fun exercise of naming the game and having really just fun gaming conventions, like the Tom Clancy's blah blah blah. And so we were doing stuff like Kevin Lynn's Twilight Shift, right?
Kevin Lynn's Dark Volition,
Gribble Madness.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just for fun. We were never going to go that route, but I think it would have been hilarious to have that be like an April Fool's thing. But anyway, we didn't do that route. But so the naming of the game has been actually a kind of a long narrative of the evolution of our naming conventions as a team of writers and a team of lore builders and a team of world builders. And as we've matured and grown, as we're building the story world, again, coming from an area where everything was very literal, right? And then evolving that to a area where, or to a kind of a philosophy now that we're being very deliberate with our namings of things. And and so you may say, well, wait, why are you letting audience members and players potentially name stuff? We're still going to vet, right? And we're still going to make sure that we're cool with the name and that makes sense and it's not offensive or abusive or anything like that. So there is balances, and we'll also do our best to gate it too. It's like, hey, maybe let's just. I'm not saying this is exactly how we're going to do it, but let's just say 50 people suggest names. Well, we're going to pick the 5 that we like, that we feel fit, and then let you guys vote. Based on that. So it's kind of, to be fair, like I'm just a little behind the curtain, like how we did the Mad Libs contest is. We went in and we watched, or we'd watch because they weren't performed. We read all the entries. By the way, a lot of great submissions by you guys. I mean, I was really surprised that, some people just kind of threw submissions in. They get the allow list, which is totally cool within the rules, right? No problem. Spot, but a lot of you really, put some pretty clever things in there. And so, finding that balance of like, okay, names, making sure that fits, making sure that we can have a take of whether they have good insults or bad insults and what that means, and these little like whatever X factor things we wanted to look at as far as potential choices for a finalist pick, and then let you guys pick from the 6, right, as finalists. So things like that is finding that balance of one, naming things, creating the world. 2, creating the world with, and then 3, creating the world and aspects of the world with you guys as as participants, working together with us. So that's my long-winded answer of how we got the name. If you want to add to that, you can.
Plus, shift can mean multiple things, so that's fun.
Oh yeah, that's right. And so the kind of the thing of this too is that you're not supposed to be in this area. So you're essentially you're taking up an extra shift of work in the Twilight, in this forbidden area, which you will name to get the thing for the eggs. The Twilight shift coming tomorrow. All right.
Jason, anything to add?
No, I think that horse is it needs some water.
It's shifted. All right. Okay. Next question. Skipping down a little bit, some discussion about the actual playtest, but then Tech Talks here, also listening to the AMA, asks, what kind of marketing will go out for the new minigame and second collection? What can the community do to help support? So that's great that you asked that, because your name specifically came up as someone who we do want to talk to again for community promotion. Your great Clubhouse talk that you had in the past. We would love to, get together again for something closer to August 19th. This is falling on me and Jason primarily. I could say that a lot of our past partnerships, Familiar Faces, Zoo Friends, and Angry Ape Army, and so on and so forth, definitely want to circle the wagons again, get everybody that we've worked with in the past on board once again, see how we can help them and provide them and their communities allow lists and maybe NFTs, to draw awareness, obviously, to our project Endgame now that we've actually got some cool things to check out. So definitely partnerships. Obviously, big YouTubers, like the reason we have a giant Russian and Ukrainian contingent now in the Discord is because of a Russian-speaking creator. So we want to continue to make sure that they're happy with us and talking to their constituents as well. And then finally, just my last thing before I toss to Jason is we want to figure out how to not only reward content creators with existing channels, like your big Clubhouse and Nikita's YouTube channel, but also people who don't have giant channels and are more just big fans of the product who want to tell a friend or two. We would love to try and figure out, tool up not a fan club, more of a rewards program or refer a friend program, ways that you can tap your couple of people that would be interested rather than making a YouTube video and hoping it gets views or whatever. So different benchmarks for different sort of partnerships. I have a lot of experience working with different mediums, so I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to entice a lot of people to share our game and new NFT collection with some collaboration. Show off theirs, give some giveaways to our holders. Obviously, you guys benefit if that's the case. Some projects can actually have art crossover or assets made to collaborate in ways like Crypto Walkers or Arcade will be, once their games are completed. So this is actually a great opportunity for us to meet a lot of new projects that we haven't, had existing relationships with. I'm going to be cold calling a lot of people with, details, but definitely you guys, just by retweeting and liking and checking out our other channels, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We have channels on all, pages on all of those. If our stats continue to grow, we'll continue to grow. So that's a free thing that you can do until we otherwise have things for you to share with your close friends or wide audiences.
I want to add that it's a good question because there we stated this before, and we'll have more more published here soon. Is there's not going to be a public sale, and so what we're doing is we have an allotment for our holders to claim. So it's a claim and not a drop. Just again to make that really clear that we're not going to drop it in your wallets. We expect people to claim it, to actively claim it. And drops have an interesting connotation sometimes. And so we have the reservation for claims. We have a reservation for existing allow list winners from our various contests to date. But so to that end, then we do what I would call it. We call it partner marketing. You can also call it, relatively speaking, call it influencer marketing. We'd like to see, as Joshua was saying, we're going to be contacting a lot of projects that have either worked with us before or will be new that we can work with. I've already talked to, it's Web3 is great. You meet a lot of folks, and who want to help, and or friends from past lives or doing things in the space as well. And so we're going to be reach out, and it had some folks reach out to us before, and so that's the quid pro quo of Web3 is doing a lot of that marketing to make sure that we can get a certain number. And I think we'll wait on revealing the number of what this like genesis phase of what this next collection will be, because the collection itself will be much larger over time, but this initial set will certainly, we're talking through still how we define them as the genesis batch for the egg/gribble eventuality. So yeah, I definitely think, Crystal, that we Kevin mentioned you, so I know we love to talk with your group and other groups about and get in front of folks and talk about this. Give some of these egg claims away, and then open up more allow list spots for people to take a shot.
Yeah, but basically still keeping it organic. I mean, we're not putting up billboards or anything. So,
we're not paying anybody.
Yeah, definitely not spending actual money. No,
not on that. We'll figure that out in the future at where we spend money. I think we definitely want this. What Josh was getting at is like, we want this to be authentic. We want to have real relationships with other groups. We want to support other groups in a direct, in this quid pro quo sort of way, and not in a here's a bag, go do a thing, and we don't care about about it in a very personal ways. I think we do everything very personally. So there's that.
Yeah, there's just a lot to keep in mind about NFT games and their audience. The rising tide lifts all ships is a true story, but also we share the same the same small pond. So the small pond has to rise as well for all the ships to go up. So basically, we need to be nice to each other. There's no winners if there's like infighting and stuff like that. So it's a small world. We have the same audiences. We kind of are counting on cross promotion really to help everyone survive this market and experiment really that we're all trying to eventually realize here. So partnerships, definitely extremely strong aspect of continuing forward with marketing, promotion, and just being friends with everybody as much as we can.
But we'll be reaching out.
Yeah.
We'll be reaching out to Tech Talk.
Wait, so I'm canceling my Sunset Boulevard billboard?
Yes, you're canceling. No,
that's out of your pocket, though. You can still do it.
No bus stops and well, not yet. Not yet.
We could mention. We actually did not mention at all that you are speaking at Nft Expo. We could at least mention that.
Oh yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. I heard that. I think Yuzu, you're going to be there. But yeah, I'm speaking at Nft Expo. I will be on site a little bit tomorrow. I'm not speaking officially. I'm doing an interview, but I'm going to be there in like mid-afternoon. I say this because we're launching stuff tomorrow, so like I can't just like spend the entire day at a conference. But I will make an appearance tomorrow if you get around. Just go ahead and whatever, message me, Discord, Twitter, whatever. I'm around. And on Sunday is our talk, or my talk. 1:30. It's about games in the metaverse. Speaking with a couple other people on the panel, and that's 1:30 at the convention center. If you guys are around, please feel free to come by and say hi, support. I'm obviously going to be talking about this game since it's hot off the press and I can talk about it. It'd be great to mention and discuss. And so yeah, I'll be around there, and I'm actually very curious. I know this is the first time they're doing this convention. It's at the LA Convention Center. I definitely don't see the amount of quote unquote hype that NFT NYC had. But hey, happy to support, happy to get the word out. Happy and honored to be invited to represent Meta Theory and DuskBreakers in this conference. And yeah, if you're around, please say hi.
And that is Jason. I can hear you, but that is something in the future.
Punch the keys, Jason.
More cons, more events. You just mentioned it maybe doesn't have the same hype or whatever as NFT NYC. I just saw that NFT Las Vegas is going to be operating October 10th through 13th alongside the Web3 Expo. And I live in Vegas, so I will probably go to that one.
What? We should submit you to talk on that one.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely talk.
Let's put it on the list, Jason. Let's get Joshy out.
Double
Web3
down.
Expo. Yeah, you guys, I like to gamble too, so you can come gamble with me.
Whoa.
You said double down. Are we talking about KFC or blackjack?
Okay.
Anyway.
We're just messing with you.
We do have events in the pipe, basically. So we're looking very forward to October. Really is a big one for us. So cool. Any live questions? Since we do actually, I see.
Yeah, if you on Discord want to just come up on stage too, just send me a message. You can hear everybody through it, or our Twitter. We're actually past the hour, so we don't have to. We got a game to work on to launch. We get eggs to egg. I guess last thing I just want to clarify on the eggs is that the animation imagery that you see in the tagged tweet is again the kind of opening level of this. So this asset does evolve, not just hatch, but evolve and then hatch. So I think it's fun.
Many evolutions.
So more on that later. But this is an evolving asset, which is something very fun. We'll get to play with.
Yeah, composability. Why not take advantage of the technology that we have in Web3 that allows you to do this? So we're gonna have some fun.
We're all gonna have some fun.
Cool. Well, are we all? There's one more here. What is this? I wasn't interested in the beginning, but did you mention utility of the egg? Yes. So, Mikhail, the utility of the egg will be, if I drive through this as straight as possible at this point. We did talk about it a bit, but the egg is a Gribble egg. So it eventually should become a Gribble. Along that path is, we mentioned that there's Twilight Shift, because you yourself can't, you may have trouble hatching the egg, but if you play a Twilight Shift, you will mine resources that will go into it. And so by playing the game a bit more, scoring, completing missions, and some other side content, we'll have an incubator for the egg, and we'll have another piece of content that I don't want to spoil yet, that you will then interact with. And then by doing those things, essentially speaking, you're scoring points on a periodic basis. I believe we have 5 periods and of scoring, and they will go into these multiple evolution changes. And along the way, like the more you do, the higher quality your Gribble will be by the time the egg hatches near the end of September. So it's still a little bit open about what the very, very, very exact things are, because we have more to show in a couple of weeks, and obviously on 8/19. So we haven't defined every single nugget just yet. It was in front of you. That's right, little user. It was in front of you all along.
Little Yuzu, big regular Yuzu, rivaling Jolie in the comic.
That's right.
Pointing out the hero art was actually posted before the Payday cinematic, and some people did say, what are the little Dragon Balls that the Gribble is holding? Well, those are actually Gribble eggs, of course.
Yeah, Gears leaves nothing to chance. There's always an Easter egg somewhere. So there was an Easter egg, and the Easter egg was an egg. Quite literal.
Because that's what we do. We are the literal namers.
Yeah, we do. What should we do? The literal thing.
The literal thing.
Why don't we call it an egg? Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect.
All good. But this has been awesome, everybody. I just want to say thank you to on my team up here that I get to work with every day, and those who are still listening in the audience. And then thank you to all of y'all who've been following us and sticking with us. I've just been really personally I've been really looking forward to having more stuff for you all as players and holders and readers and viewers and whatever, for you guys, for more stuff for you guys to do. So I've been waiting for this for quite a while, so I'm stoked.
And just because I see him in the audience, I see Masso's here. So just everybody remember that when we launches tomorrow, and Julia's here as well. So we definitely want your feedback. We need your feedback. The team, the development team, would love to see what you have to say. Even whether you have bugs or issues or other feedback, positive, or other commentary, like please give us all that you can so that we can make the best product
ever.
Yeah, make it the most fun, enjoyable for yourself by playing and telling us what can be better. Easy.
Ever.
Cool. Let's wrap.
Ever. Okay, that's it for. Actually, anything else? Hey, Julie, do you have anything you want to add? Because we just started you out. No.
I don't know. I was gonna just say somebody. So D-Lou asked how many hours has Style Piggy and Joshy playtested for. Who's logged the?
Oh man.
Question.
I'm thinking Style Piggy's gonna win that race. That's my guess.
And I was just gonna. I already answered him, but I wanted to shout out just me. I'm just kidding. Me and Gears.
Yeah, but Gears plays it a very specific way.
Yes.
Gears is he's special. He's playing it to be the most aggro he can. Julia does not stop playing. She doesn't sleep anymore. She just plays the game. She's the finder of all the bugs. And the other one, where I said when we watched, we saw a play test. I'll close on this. We saw a play test a couple weeks ago, and one of the folks on Masso's team, Io, is that how you pronounce his name? He was making the game look so easy that I said, "Wow, the game looks really easy." Then I installed it, and I was like, "Oh no, it's not as easy as he made it look." I was like, "Oh man." So anyway,
that's really funny.
I was like, "This game is a snap. It's going to be too easy." And I'm like, "Oh no." Cool. Anyway,
that's amazing. All right, good stuff, everybody. We're gonna wrap this baby up. Chris, I will message you. We're already messaging. So remember to check us out. The game, the play test starts tomorrow. Do we have a time on the play test? Are we saying a time on the play test? Did we
5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific.
5 p.m. Pacific.
We'll definitely. We may even start just as an FYI. We may start a new Discord channel for game status, or we may recommandeer one of these. We're just trying to figure out what that is in the next a little bit under 24 hours here, just so that we give a proper, clean announcement channel for game status.
Amazing. And yeah, so that's happening tomorrow. I'm in Expoverse. If you're in LA, cool. If you're not, no big deal. Don't worry about it. Play the game. Write the survey. Masso and Julie want to hear from you. Shout out to Masso in the chat, or not chat, on the Twitters, and the other team members who are probably not there anymore. I saw Tavius earlier, David, Kevin, Gears, Drawn Comics and stuff. And then any last words? Squad on stage?
New comic tomorrow.
New comic tomorrow from Gears. That's what he's saying.
Play the game, do the survey.
Do the survey. And for Julia, Joshy, Jason, I'm Bernie. Thank you, and we'll see you in the Discords and the game on the Dusk, and our next AMA on the 11th. Not here on Twitch. Oh no, not here on Discord and Twitter, but on Twitch. More details come on that. Thank you, and good night.